Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to some more Total War Rise of Mordor. Today we're taking a look at a brand new mod for War of the Ring. When I say brand new, it did come out about 6-7 months ago in a very bare bones state and has recently received an update a couple days ago that goes ahead and basically completely revamps the mod, adds in a ton more content and makes it playable, I would say, at this point. If you don't know what the War of the Ring mod is, basically it adds in the world of Middle-earth and all the units and factions of Rise of Mordor into the default Total War Atilla campaign. So this is going to be on the normal map of Europe and the East and the South. So don't get this confused with the actual custom campaign mod that the actual Rise of Mordor team is working on. They've got their own tools that is allowing them to customize the Atilla map and make the AI realize where stuff is, but that's still a way away from actual release. You know, they've still got a lot of work to be doing on that, but it's still very awesome that it's on the way. But for now, we can definitely mess around with War of the Ring, and I think this is going to be like probably a pretty good testing area for the actual Rise of Mordor team as well, if they work together with the modder who has made this War of the Ring campaign mod, because it'd be great. They could like implement some stuff, see if it works or not for their actual campaign when it does eventually come out. So this is set, I believe, in the end of the Second Age. You've got a sealed door, the old, and obviously the younger one as well. You've got the Kingdom of Arnor as well, and Arnor does have a custom roster as well in the mod, which is very cool, and they're going to be set up on the Western Roman Empire, and then Gondor is going to be the Eastern. Sauron himself is going to be over in the East, so he's going to basically be where the Sassanids are in the normal Atilla game, and he has a ton of orc tribes under his control. I imagine he's going to be a very fun character to play as, and probably the character that most of you guys will be playing as. You also obviously have Angmar as well, which is not in Rise of Mordor, so this is a custom faction added in specifically for the War of the Ring campaign. And as you can see right here, they start off in Ireland, ready to set off and start raiding, which is pretty cool. You have the Elven Kingdoms at the moment. There is only Franduil's Elf King, and I assume Lindor and the other Elven factions will be added in at some point. You have several Dwarven factions as well, the Iron Hills, Erenlewin, and also Durin's Folk as well, who actually start off as a nomadic faction, which is quite cool. You can go ahead and travel around the map and try and find a home for Durin and his people. Hopefully he'll be able to find it. As well as that, I also believe Gundabad start off as, no, Gundabad's up in Scotland. I believe one of these factions, yeah, the Fighting Uruk-hai, which are going to be kind of in the midst of Gondor, moving around and fighting. And yeah, that's what kind of confuses me a little bit, because it's got like Arnor and like Isildur and stuff. Maybe I'm completely messing up my lore here, but like, wasn't like Arnor completely destroyed by the time that, you know, Sauron was really turning evil and the Uruk-hai were in existence? Because didn't he create the Uruk-hai? Anyway, I don't really know. Let me know in the comments down below if this is just kind of like a mismatch of lore and it's just kind of the way it is because it makes for fun gameplay. But yeah, do let me know. I mean, I imagine it makes sense because you have these two massive kingdoms in the in Osgiliath and in the empires of Gondor and also in Arnor, so it kind of makes sense to have it the way it is, and obviously you want to be using all the assets you have, so that does kind of make sense for sure. So then we also have that. You have Isengard, obviously you can see Sauron right there, ready to move on. And everyone does also have custom traits as well. There's culture traits, so for example, the War in Rohan culture trait is going to be giving a conversion speed, so whenever you conquer land, you can convert their buildings very quickly. And they also have their own specific ones. I think a lot of the evil factions have this swift spoil, which allows them to raid the ever-living crap out of basically everyone, and also all your units can guerrilla deploy. That seems absolutely broken and a bit too strong for sure, but again, still pretty cool nonetheless. And they also get good bonuses tonight. What's Sauron's bonuses? Wrath and Ruin. Again, so much sacking. You can just loot and basically make all your money that way. Sorry, that's Gundabad. Even the eye gives you loads of money from tribal puppets, which is good, and also gets you more levies. Yeah, that's really cool actually. That'll be a very fun campaign. basically moving around and getting all your soldiers from your orc vassals, which is kind of weird to say. You've also got the Men of the West as well, and it'd be really awesome as well, because I think there's a lot of these units in Rohan, to these 3 Rohirrim factions, are all kind of default Attila troops, and Mordor should definitely get the Rohan sub-mod, see if he can use that in this mod, because it's a really, really good mod, and the Rohan units in that mod actually look amazing. They look like they could be in Rise of Mordor, so definitely something that the modder could use. You also obviously have Dale up here in Estegoth as well, and he's basically surrounded by all the dwarfs as well, which is quite funny. And obviously if you're playing as the Witch King, you can come over and just like burn and pillage. Obviously your main goal probably is going to be going ahead and killing most of the Western Roman Empire, I guess, most of Arnor, finishing them off. So we've looked at Isengard, looked at them. We've got the Eastlings over in the north as well, so you can kind of build up your power there. Obviously, this is like a frozen north, but not quite the desert. But I still think it's a good place as Sauron is in the south. And then obviously you have these guys really far down in the south as well, which you're going to have to go ahead and basically support and yeah, bring the power and move over. Because obviously, again, you're going to have to fight. You know, you're going to fight these big empires in Arnor and Gondor. Let's go ahead and jump in as, let's say, Sauron to begin with. And we'll take a look at some of the additions that have been added in this update to the mod itself. So basically complete reworks of the tech trees for most of the factions. Some of the smaller factions haven't necessarily got all their updates yet, but I'm assuming the modder will continue to update this mod a bit more regularly now that he has kind of his base work down. And obviously if you guys go over, drop some encouragement to him in the comments of that stuff, then he will, I'm sure, be more than happy to do it. Oh, look at this as well. The Sassanid thing is not that far off. Your Dominion over in the east is strong. It is indeed. It is indeed. So yeah, here we go. This is going to be the map. And also, let me just turn off my brightness, because generally I need to like turn it up a little bit too dark. Something like that is good. Generally, it makes it so dark that you have to turn it all the way up. This is fine indeed. So obviously we have our capital. Where is our capital? Is it going to be right here? Yeah, it is right here. So this is going to be our capital. We have our armies as well ready to move on. Muzag leading the army. Do we have Sauron as we got the mouth of Sauron up in the north? I guess we don't actually have Sauron himself on the battlefield. Or is he all the way over here? Yeah, he's over here. So yeah. As you can see, the commander Sauron himself ready to lead the men, looking absolutely awesome. But as you can see, there is going to be completely custom buildings on all of these. They've all got new thumbnails to them, and you can update them and adjust them. And they all have custom stats and effects and stuff like that. It would be nicer if the modder could make the campaign text a little bit darker, maybe just black so it stands out a bit more, because it is a little bit hard to read on the far left. But as you can see, all the building trees have their own custom setup and custom pictures and stuff that you can go ahead and mess around with. There's going to be loads of different stats like roads and different building trees, which is very cool. You can already see the building browser right here. It's a pretty diverse building setup, at least for Mordor, and obviously Gondor and Arnor and stuff like that will all have their own custom setups as well. You also get the Cult of Morgoth as well, so there's going to be custom religions in the mod, which is something I didn't actually know about until just now. You also have look at Sauron's wife. Oh god, she is a beauty indeed. You can look at that child as well. Oh my god, I'm not sure if that is an orc or not. But yeah, so you can mess around with this. Do they have custom? Yeah, they've even got custom things here, which is pretty, or maybe not actually. Either way, you can set yourself up here. You're obviously going to have governors just with the normal setup. And what I wanted to look at is, yeah, the religion as well. Yeah, you have completely different religions as well, which is kind of nice. And I assume the Morgoth's cult, yeah, it just gives you growth, which is actually really nice. Definitely helps out. You obviously also have custom tech trees as well. So whips of a master, going to be giving the building upgrades. You can basically go all the way down to just constantly improve your armies. The civic tree as well gives you access to more of the buildings that you're going to be wanting to pick up as quickly as possible, getting research rate and yeah, improving that stuff as quickly as possible. So with these additions of the building trees and also of the new units and also the tech trees and stuff, I think this is definitely a playable campaign. Obviously you have custom units here as well. Actually I think these are Rise of Mordor, just with different thumbnails. I guess he's trying to keep it a little bit or unit cards, trying to keep it a bit more uniform, which is fine. You know, very interesting indeed. But he's gone down this route, and yeah, you can basically just have a really good time with it. I think obviously Sauron himself has access to all his vassals as well, so you've got all the orcs around him, basically stretching all the way in the north, which I think makes for a very powerful Mordor in the campaign. I think this is probably more of a balancing thing than anything else, because it basically makes it so that when you're playing as, say, for example, Gondor, you're not just having to fight one faction, you're having to fight like 10 factions. Even if the ones at the back don't send all their soldiers forward, a lot of the ones on the front line will. So I think that's to kind of represent just the unyielding horde. And in Total War, generally what happens is the AI, unless they're boarded with the enemy, don't really do too much. So having all these guys of one settlement kind of scattered around, they all send like a stack each at Gondor, which I think will make for a very, very interesting and more balanced campaign for sure. So let's take a look at one of the other factions as well. Let's take a look at Gondor now, because with Gondor, we can take a look at the forces of Arnor in the Western Roman Empire, and where the buildings are placed as well. So if we go War of the Ring, we'll go over to Gondor, led by King Isildur, and we'll take a look at the faction. But yeah, as I was saying, I definitely recommend you go ahead and mess around with this mod now. Beforehand, in the March update, it was definitely extremely bare bones. There are probably a lot of bugs in it, but now, you know, I think it is in a very much a playable state. There's obviously still lots of stuff that can be improved, and I'm sure will be improved, but I think you can definitely have a good time with this for sure. Theodosius is no longer here, my good friends. So obviously we've got Atilla in Constantinople. Minas Tirith is all the way back here. So again, stuff like this, it's just minor stuff that you're gonna get with like the way Atilla is built. You know, not being able to, you know, easily move settlements and stuff. Obviously, as I said earlier, Rise of Mordor will have their own tool, which they're working on, which is looking amazing. They're showing streams of them working on the campaign map over on their YouTube channel and their Discord, which is super dope. But yeah, stuff like this is not easily done. So, you know, just having like your capital as if. But then again, this is probably before it's been ruined, right? So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what time zone the campaign is actually set. So maybe this is one of the grand cities. Obviously not quite Minas Tirith, which is off in the mountains. But again, I like that Minas Tirith is here because it is, you know, in the mountains, and you know, Osgiliath is kind of like your stepping stone as the enemy push on and the forces of Mordor take off. You know, take back Barad-dûr and stuff like that. I think that would be yeah, very, very exciting indeed to see. As I said, I feel like this is like Second Age War of the Ring. It makes sense if it is for Second Age. You have a height of Gondor and Arnor. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below when you think this is going to be set. So yeah, obviously we have, we also do have some Easterling forces in the midst of our land, which is going to make for an interesting start to the campaign. Again, Gondor, again, have all their custom buildings and stuff that you're going to be wanting to build up. You can obviously form your own custom units, and you can grab them up. Economy working pretty well as well. You have your Men of Gondor set up here. It'd be kind of cool if you got some custom standards here as well, like some Gondor-esque standards would be pretty dope. I don't think these have been adjusted, but maybe they have. I can't even remember what the set. Yeah, no, these haven't been adjusted, which is fine. But yeah, you can build your own units. You obviously have your own custom building slots. You can see the different way the barracks has evolved. You also have the custom military and civic trees as well. So these will give different bonuses to your empire, especially something like this is nice, getting your corruption value down when your empire is this big. And obviously we are allied with the forces of Gondor, so you can really start to see the map unfold. Especially if you're playing as Arnor, I think you're going to have a very hard time of it fighting all the orcs in the north. That's going to be a difficult battle indeed. And obviously over on Gondor, you're going to be heavily focusing down Mordor. One of the things I want to quickly take a look at is going to be like Sauron. I want to see what Sauron starts off with diplomatically, because he's one of the factions I haven't actually looked at yet. So yeah, I want to see if he starts off at war, because at the moment he's obviously allied with the people of Rohan. But I'm very interested to see if he you know, what his relations like with Rohan, and if he's gonna break off into war with them. Because obviously if he's recruiting Uruk-hai, this could just be like one of the like, it doesn't really fit lore-wise, but it's kind of there for gameplay-wise, which is completely fine. So we have Isengard, yeah, obviously we have Uruk-hai and orcs and stuff scattered throughout. We also have some Dunland tribesmen as well. Look at that little picture there, that's pretty cool. Again, obviously custom trees as well, which is super dope. I really like that, kind of lots of like woodland, medieval vibes to them. Kind of very much fitting the Saxon setup. Is this an Eastling? No, I was going to say this is a Rohan fleet. I was going to say, is that an Eastling fleet up in the North Sea? I can't imagine. There is also as well, something this modder should try and use as well, is the boat mod as well. There's not really a lot of boats in it, but there were boats for Gondor, Dol Amroth, and also Corsairs, which you could definitely give to all the evil factions, which would be a really cool mod that the modder could use. That and Rohan, I think, would add a lot to this campaign for sure. So yeah, diplomatically, what does he start off with? So he is actually very friendly to the majority of the men of Rohan, which is interesting. The wild men of Dunland up here as well. So yeah, pretty interesting campaign. I guess you would just, your beginning moves as Isengard is just to go to war with the enemy and yeah, just start trying to bring down Rohan. Again, obviously custom tech trees as well. I imagine this is probably like the Rohan culture group tech tree, which is cool. And yeah, I want to see, is Sauron like just chilling? He's not even in part of this faction. Okay, interesting. So you just don't get to play as Saruman? Saruman? Yeah, you don't get to play as him. Okay, interesting. Maybe he comes later on for an event or something. And you have more Dunland infantry here as well. And infantry there. Cool. So let's just, I wanted to take a look at one more faction before we end the video. I just wanted to kind of see, because I've taken a look at a bunch of them. Some I haven't looked at. I'm just interested to see how they all play and kind of like what their initial starting areas is. So let's take a look at the dwarves. So Iron Hills all the way in the north, you've got Erlenwind there, and then you also have Durin's Folk. Let's take a look at Durin's Folk, because Durin's Folk, by the looks of it, is pretty embedded into the Western Roman, or the Eastern Roman Empire, I guess, Gondor. So it'd be interesting to see how their play style really does differ, because I imagine they would go very north and into the Eastling lands, because there's not really anywhere for them to carve themselves out in the south. Oh, I say that there is also some southern runic lands down here as well, which they definitely could move in and just conquer straight away if they wanted to. They obviously have some Dwarven scouts. They have a bunch more units with the SUBMOD as well, which is pretty nice indeed. So they could really kind of head and decide where they want to go, whether it is into Gondor, whether they want to go into and start fighting orcs pretty soon. I think this would be a very fun campaign. The ability to take on the enemy and start just, you know, immediately killing the orcs and stuff and forming your land would be very fun indeed. And again, obviously they have a custom. This actually looks somewhat similar to the Men of Rohan, but they do have access to lots of different buildings and stuff like that. Okay, cool. That's going to be it for the video. I just wanted, basically, this is just a video to show off the new Rise of Mordor War of the Ring. Definitely, you know, still a work in progress, but a great start, and allowing you to play with these units is always super awesome, something I really like, and it's great to see the modder it has updated this after a pretty long hiatus, so massive shout out to him. Make sure you go over to the Steam page, which I'll link down below in the description. Go show him some love, drop some comments, download the mod. Let him know that you guys are interested in this. Even if you're not necessarily going to play it right now, you maybe want to wait for a couple updates. Still go over, still subscribe to it, still go drop him some love, because that, you know, them comments and, you know, if he sees lots of people playing with the mod itself, he'll be more likely to get motivated and probably update it in the future. That's generally what modders do. If they see their mod doing really well, they'll be like, oh, well, hell yeah, let's go. Let's add some more stuff to it, which is, you know, generally why I always push people to the pages, because I want to see the mods get better and better. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, and fish out.